Hey, Joseph here. Today I've got quite a bit of a complicated video that is coming up, so bear with me as I troubleshoot a couple of things. But I've had this Rode Streamer X for quite some time, and I have been using it in various tasks and kind of testing it out, and I wanted to showcase this to you, but with a suite of other things that go along with this. So hopefully throughout this video, I'll be able to demonstrate that and tell you why this may be a good fit for your setup. First of all, I got this Rode VideoMic GO connected via USB Type-C port onto my computer, and it is picking up voice from here. And as a backup, I have a voice recorder just tucked under my shirt so that in case I recorded things in a wrong way, or if I have any interference, then I have sort of a backup. And in my experience, if I ever use the 3.5mm jack off of my camera that is mounted over there, I have radio frequency or wireless signal frequency noise that is feeding into the cable. The longer the cable, more noise that I hear within the voice recording or the sound recording. Therefore, I gave up an idea of having the cable all the way from the camera onto somewhere near me so that it extends towards my mouth, which is the sound source. So on my camera over there, I just have another external microphone that is just off to the side. It is close enough to the camera just so that I can synchronize the sound from the video versus the sound that I'm recording from my computer later on, and my editing software is able to synchronize that no problem. However, it still has the problem of, well, there is a microphone within my scene or in the composition, and also if I happen to just speak kind of off to the mic, then you may not hear the most desirable sound. Therefore, I need to kind of focus on talking to you as well as the microphone and try to get to as close as I can within the realm of, I don't know, unboxing or introducing product, or perhaps just doing a talking head style video like this. And because via USB Type-C, the signal is digital, therefore there's not much of an interference or noise that is being introduced within the voice recording or the sound. There's still a bit of a noise, but the noise floor is much lower than what it used to be with the noisy pickup of the camera plus the interference that was going into the microphone. Therefore, I have been using this setup for quite some time. And that was one of the reasons why I always had sort of a background music within my videos, just to avoid sort of hissing or little beeping noise of the radio frequency or wireless devices that is introducing sound into my recordings. And mind you, I've got a lot of devices within this studio, anywhere from wireless headphones, earphones, the cameras that has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and my mouse, keyboard, my phone. Everything is introducing some noise level into my microphones that are very, very sensitive. And since we're talking about sound for quite a bit, let's talk about the sound treatment in general of this studio, and that would be our sponsor, Arrowzoom. I've received these wonderful looking sound panels from Arrowzoom, and they look great as well as sounding great. My room had a lot of flat surfaces, and there's inherent echo that is going on within this room. Therefore, installing a foam panels like this will definitely increase the sound quality with less echoing and better sound for my videos. I used the T-pins to fix the sound panels on the wall, and that were quite easy. You just need to line them up properly and mount them with the T-pins pushed in within the gaps, and just make sure you straighten them out pretty good and you should be good to go. There's still a bit of areas to sound treat within this room, including the floors and the ceiling. However, the blankest wall that is behind this camera is now covered with the foam, therefore not bouncing or creating echo of my voice. Let's do a little comparison. So it is right now a blank wall. As you can see, there's my computer and a door and nothing. Therefore, there's quite a bit of an echo within this room. Echo. Echo. And let me read a short blurb. The Arrowzoom sound panels help to reduce the echo within the room and increase the sound quality. It's great for content creators, gamers, artists, and work from home folks like myself who needs better sound for your calls and videos. And let's compare that with the sound panels installed. It's gonna take some time, but with the edit, we can make that happen quite quickly. And this is what it sounds like with the sound panels installed. It's looking quite nice and also sounds nice too. Let me read the blurb. The Arrowzoom sound panels help to reduce the echo within the room and increase the sound quality. It's great for content creators, gamers, artists, and work from home folks like myself who needs better sound for your calls and the videos. If you want sound panels that sounds great and looks great, then you can certainly use Arrowzoom. I'll leave the links in the description. Arrowzoom is one of the few stores that are offering the product in several sizes, styles, and colors and combinations. You can look at their social media for any updates or promotions that are going on, but I have a code for you to use, which is AZ-JK. I'll leave the code in the description as well as the link for you to enjoy 10% off from their stores. And as you can see, I'm always looking for ways to improve my overall setup, either in efficiency or simplicity, or just the quality in general, or it could just be aesthetics sort of thing. And in this case, I do want to kind of remove this microphone setup just because I have a risk of speaking off axis and you would not be able to hear me all that well. And also it being in a shot is somewhat distracting in my opinion, especially when things are not as clean. So I'm looking for ways to improve that. Therefore, I look towards the Streamer X. Supposedly is great for these type of content creation or even live stream type of thing. Then I do want to get back into podcasting or perhaps streaming with a setup like this, and it seems to be quite good. So let me show you a couple of different things about the Streamer X. However, I do want to disclose the fact that I have received several Rode devices, including the Streamer X, for me to showcase and make a video like this. Before I implemented the Streamer X into my workflow, there were several things that I needed to iron out, including the one that was shipped or included inside of the package of Streamer X, the power cable. So the power cable that I have received was this one, or the bulk of it is this one, and it is just going for US power into USB Type-C, and there's quite a bit of bulk, and I have a lot of USB Type-C cable with power delivery for me to feed correct power onto this device. Therefore, this just needed to go. And on the back, there are a lot of things that you can connect to this device. And starting from the very left side of the back, there is a power port that you're going to connect into. However, you can connect to port number 1 to provide power as well as connection to whatever the device. For my example, it'll be my PC, and I will be connecting one single cable from my PC into here, providing both power and the connection. So that will be the single port connection configuration. However, you can also connect to another device via port number 2. And then you got a set of HDMI ports for display in as well as the through. Therefore, you can connect your camera and then have it go into this port. For this Streamer X to work as a capture card, yes, that is one of the function or feature of this device, and have it through so that you can see it on your monitor, which is actually incredible. I'll test that in a bit. And the next is the headphone jack, or this is actually the combo jack. Therefore, you can have the microphone off of your headset. If it is connected via 3.5mm audio jack, then you'll be able to hear things through that microphone as well as the sound. Then this device will pick up both the microphone and output via the headset ear cups. And you got the plain headset you can connect onto right next to it. So they are kind of bundled together. And you have simply the XLR cable that you can connect onto. Therefore, I'm going to test that as well. So a whole suite of connections are available back there, and I'm going to put them to the test. And pulling out here is the Rode PodMic USB, and I've got it on this weird looking thing at the end because I needed to make sure that this doesn't introduce any bumpy sound that is coming from the desk as I handle devices. Actually, a lot less of these bumpy noise is going through this desk and onto the arm, onto this microphone, just because this is actually sitting on a shock absorber. However, the shock absorber inside of the Rode microphone was not adequate enough to kind of get rid of all of these bangs that I may create as I open up products and let it down on the table sort of thing, and also working on the keyboard. All of the kind of clickety clack of sound and banging went into the arm and onto the microphone. So this whole thing becomes like a drum. Therefore, I decided to have a shock absorber. I tried a bunch of different ones, but this came into a fruition where I was able to mount it. It is not meant for microphone of this caliber or this thick. However, I was able to stretch it far enough to fit this in after I have removed its arms or the stand on either side, and it works perfectly. And at least looking from the camera, it wouldn't look all that bad because it keeps that small profile within the shot. Therefore, I kind of like how this turned out to be. So I can just connect this, and once I connect it, my computer will recognize this microphone and I can start speaking into it. Okay, let me push this one aside. And then now I'm able to talk directly into this microphone, PodMic USB. And I like the USB connection because it is a single cable, again, digital, therefore not prone to noises that are being introduced into the cable at least. And the metal body really encapsulate the microphone really well, fighting against the radio frequency that is being introduced into the setup. So in that combination, it actually rejects them pretty well and it sounds great too. However, it is not a good microphone for talking in a bit of a distance. Therefore, I need to make sure that I speak kind of close to it to keep that warmth of a tone. And it'll be perfect for podcasts and such. And I can connect my headset on it to be able to monitor my own voice and the sound. And that is great for kind of singular setup. However, if you want to go into different type of setups other than just speaking directly into this microphone, then that's where the Streamer X comes in. So now that you have heard what my voice sounds like from the Rode VideoMic GO II as well as PodMic USB, let me go ahead and actually connect the Streamer X and tell you how it is going to work all together. One other thing that you must do is to use the USB Type-C cable that came with Streamer X to connect to it. There are a couple of reasons to it, but one of them being for the capture card purposes, you need to have a cable that is high speed enough to be able to have 4K capture card capabilities. There's a lot of bandwidth that's required for cables to carry that much of kind of signal and data. Therefore, you got to use the USB Type-C cable that came with this device. And I do have that cable here, so I'm just going to connect up to it. And instead of using the USB Type-C port, I'm going to use the XLR cable connected onto this PodMic and connect onto Streamer X. And this cable was not included with the Streamer X nor the PodMic, so I had to purchase it separately. It is about 6 feet or so, I would say, and it works perfectly fine, but you can get the ones from Rode as well. And you can certainly use these cable clips to route the cable easily through the boom arm. Now you're actually hearing the sound through this microphone XLR cable onto Streamer X, and the Streamer X is feeding onto my computer. Therefore, you're hearing the sound, but I have lost the ability to monitor my sound, so I'm going to connect the headset as well. And here is a great sounding headset from Rode. It's meant for monitoring, so it may not do a lot of emphasis on bass and such, but it really is meant to monitor sound the way it's meant to be. Again, I'm not really an audio professional, therefore a lot of things that I say is not necessarily professional opinion. However, it's just something that I have experienced and something that I have tested, and I truly believe that this sounds really great for especially monitoring the sound of your videos. And this headphone can also be purchased with the microphone to be connected like this. However, for right now, I'm going to use it as a headphone purposes for monitoring sound. Therefore, I'm going to leave it out. However, you can just put it on like this. And then on the other end is the 4-pole combo jack, which comes with this adapter that splits out onto the speaker and the microphone. Therefore, I can just connect this onto my computer if I needed to. But in order to do that, I also need this adapter for me to go from 3.5 mil to the thicker one for the sound devices. Microphone testing, 1 2 3 1 2 3, and now I should be able to pick up the sound, and I'm currently hearing myself through this headphone. So currently I'm just monitoring the sound, and this is what it sounds like. And what you're hearing, I'm able to hear into my ear. And any of the sound that my computer now makes also makes its way into this headphone. Therefore, I can hear that as well. So this would be a great podcast setup because I can now individually control the dials here to be able to control the monitoring sound and then the microphone sound manually with the knobs, as well as just being able to hear the sound very clearly. So hopefully that makes sense to you, and this is sounding great. However, we can go a bit further. Now, do you remember the part that I said you can attach a microphone onto this headphone or headset? I can simply attach this microphone onto the side of the headset. It does have 2 ports on either side of the ear, so you can connect this in any way possible. However, the microphone only goes onto the right side. Therefore, you have to push that in and then twist. And also the same thing for this cable. It does have this locking mechanism that you need to twist and turn to make sure it locks. Therefore, the microphone is on the right side, and now the cable is on the left, spanning onto the Streamer X that I'm about to connect to. So this is the combo jack, the 4-pole. And I'm going to connect it onto the Streamer X. Instead of over here, I'm going to connect onto here. And now I am able to monitor the sound, first of all. So it is now feeding the sound onto this headset via this port over here, but it is still picking up the sound from this microphone. So currently the sound is coming from the PodMic and feeding onto Streamer X, and I'm monitoring the sound via this cable over here. I can now switch this over from PodMic onto the headset's microphone over here. I do that by just clicking the knob. So I just need to cycle through different type of microphones, and then I have went into the center one, which has the headset icon, and now the sound is going from the headset onto the PC via Streamer X, as you saw. And I just need to basically increase the microphone sound more so that it shows that it is picking up. So as I increase the microphone volume, it shows now the sound is being picked up. You can see that there. I just need to reduce it, then it starts to show much less, but I'm certainly seeing on the computer that the sound is being picked up. So I'm gonna reduce it a little bit down, and then I can increase the monitoring gain just so that I can hear myself a bit better. So that individual control is all possible. Now you're hearing the sound through this headset over here. So a gentle brush kind of confirms that you're hearing the sound. And this is much more comfortable setup because you're able to just kind of move around, and not much of a banging on the table is going to make its way onto the microphone. However, it is not as warm as what you will hear from PodMic. So that is certainly an option for you. If you want to be a bit more movable, then you can certainly do that. But if you want very bassy, warm tone that you hear from these large diaphragm microphone, that is kind of meant for podcasting sort of stuff, then you can certainly use a PodMic. So the options are available for you, and that does not end all here. we have another option. As you see here, you have 3 different microphone options. So we just tested PodMic XLR setup, and then the headset, and there is a wireless thingy here, and that is now related to Rode Wireless Me. If you have the Go series, you can certainly use that there too, but Wireless Me works as well. You're not going to use the receiver, you're going to pair the transmitter with the Streamer X, and it can work as a receiver. Therefore, you're gonna turn this on, and I'm gonna turn on Rode Central just so that I can show you what I'm seeing here. Currently, I've got 2 devices that are connected to my computer, the PC, and VideoMic GO II always has been connected via USB Type-C port, and then also Streamer X is now connected. So in here, I can go on to device configuration, and then I can have illumination in different level, so that you can see on the camera much better, but also go to audio setup. I now have this middle headset section is being used, but I can click on here to go to the wireless section. Since now you can't hear me, I'm switching over to my microphone. You can actually hover over these icons and it's gonna read it for you. I don't know why it does that. I have no way of disabling this.
High pass filter, deesser, noise gate, compressor, panning, equalizer.
But I don't need any of that. I just need to pair a new device. Power on TX and press power button once more. Okay, I powered it on and gonna press that once more. And now it has been connected. It's
10 dB.
It's a bit high gain, so I'm just gonna reduce it further down. And you can now have this clipped onto your shirt and then speak into it. And I now can actually monitor that sound onto my headset. You're gonna get a bit of echo and kind of room noise, if you will, with this, because your microphone is not as close to the sound source where you're speaking directly into it. You're gonna bounce off of the monitors that I have and then feed back into it. Therefore, it's gonna sound a little roomy or echoey, if you will, but you can certainly move around without any problem. And the fact that it just works with the Streamer X. Now this is transmitting sound onto Streamer X and it's handling all of that. So now I can go from button press wireless to the pod mic over here, and you can see that it is blinking and it is picking up the sound, and I can reduce the microphone gain if I want to, and it changes color to indicate that I'm coming from this microphone over here. And I can certainly mute the headset if I wanted to. If I press it again, I hear back on my headset over here. And if I press this again, it now picks up from this microphone over here, and it can control the gain as well again, and then move on to the wireless microphone that's over here. So I'm just jumping between these 3 microphones depending on the setup. If you don't own all of these 3 devices, you can just rely on one, but you can have all of these options available for you. And I'm going to remain on the Wireless Me just so that I can just continue to talk and move around rather than being so fixated right here. But we have not ended here, because there's one more function that I wanted to show you before I head off, which is the 4K capture card, which is involving the HDMI cable. Because this is a 4K capture card, it is able to capture the 4K signal off of your camera and then take it onto the Streamer X so that it captures and works as like a webcam for your computer. So I'm able to record that off of my computer and actually be able to monitor on one of the monitor that I have through the through port that is within the Streamer X. And by the way, in case you want to mount this onto a tripod or something, then you can certainly use this thread. I just haven't had a desk space to do that at this time, but you can certainly put that onto the in port. So it is now going from my camera to Streamer X, and Streamer X is working as a capture card, which may not be a foreign concept to you. This is pretty well-known feature of different devices. However, I just wanted to show you that the Streamer X is able to work as a capture card for your camera, pushing it onto your PC as a webcam, as well as having all of these inputs available at your axis. And the UIs around the webcam or the camera, you can just turn it off on your camera side. I haven't done it on my camera, but this goes to tell you that I'm using this camera for this feed. And I'm just going to switch over to PodMic, because it sounds much better than what you heard on this wireless microphone. Unfortunately, there's a lot of wireless signals that are going around, so I don't want to risk of any noises being introduced. And this microphone, frankly, sounds amazing, especially with this kind of my DIY shock absorber thing. And there's still a bit of a sound that is being picked up in terms of all of these bangs, but it's not as severe as what it used to be. So this whole thing becomes like a drum, and this definitely does the job. So I'll leave the product links in the description for you guys to pick up. And in terms of other control, you can turn off the capture card. So there's a quick access there, but also you have customizable pads that you can use it to have different sounds. This is going to be really loud, therefore I'm going to reduce the gain a little bit. Bleep button.
And then I'm going to sound like this if I activate this.
Or like this.
I don't think I'm going to be using that, but if I go here, you can have a nice intro music. So a bunch of different sound effects, but yeah, that is sort of the short intro of the Streamer X. There is a lot to it and a lot of products that I just covered. So if you're wondering about any of the products that I have covered, I'll try to leave all the links in the description. If you don't find it, please leave comments down below. If you have any other questions, please leave them down in a comment as well. And if you have found any value of this chaotic audio gear review or showcase, then please like this video and consider subscribing to my channel to continue watching these type of videos. I would love to talk to you on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you next time. Bye.